Today we're going to be talking all about gathering resources, which may not sound like the most exciting topic, except, yeah, you are going to need a ton of resources in Infinite Galaxy. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Infinite Galaxy, and today we're bringing you some tips and tricks to get you more resources. If you like Infinite Galaxy videos that help you get value and smash your enemies, then smash that subscribe button for more Infinite Galaxy videos just like this one. Today, this is such an important topic, gathering resources, because guess what? At some point, you can't keep powering up if you don't have the resources to do it. You can't wage war if you don't have the resources to do it. So let's talk about a few ways you can get resources. Now, one way we're not going to talk about today, by the way, is going to plunder other player cities. I'll have a card up in the top where we explored exactly how to go and do that. The other thing we're not talking about, but this is so important, I'm including it at the top of this video, baby, is spending your energy. Because look, you can spend a whole bunch of time gathering resources, or you could real quick run one of your flagships out, beat a pirate, and get a whole bunch of resources. Don't let your energy go to waste. So now that we've said that and gotten that important stuff out of the way, there's two ways that you gather resources in Infinite Galaxy. One is to be gathering from asteroids. Boom. Here's an asteroid. You tap the little radar in the upper right. It'll show you, when you tap the different resource types, where the asteroids are. Not every system has every type of asteroid, and you'll know, by the way, what asteroids are in any given system if you go to the galaxy view. Boom. It'll show you what types of asteroids you can find there. Now, the second type of resource gathering is from planets. If we go back into that same system we were just looking at, if I zoom out, you can see in the map in the upper right that there are white dots. Anywhere that there is a white dot, that is a planet. There can be one fleet gathering from a planet at a time. And in general, planet gathering is the most advantaged way of gathering resources in Infinite Galaxy. In fact, it's so good that the game even limits the amount of time you can spend doing that in any given day. Here is my planet gathering fleet doing work on some plasma right now. You can see there is a base amount of resources that I'm getting for doing this. That is the number in white next to the plasma symbol. I can use my cursor and show you that's right over here. And there is a bonus that I'm getting as well based on my research and other things like my core module. But let's jump into, real quick, the core module and other things that can dramatically boost your gathering speed, because this is important. Those core things include core module, research, and your flagships as well. Looking into the core module, I strongly recommend that if you don't think you're going to have a war, you go pretty heavily into the development tree, in part just for the research speed boosts and the construction speed boosts, but also some very, very important things in here that are going to get you just a ton of resources. One is right over here, energy recovery. Remember I said energy is really important, but more importantly for gathering, boom. This right over here, deep planet development, increases the output of resources and planet development by 40%. Ooh, that is a nice little boost for your planet development. In addition, you can see I recommended that you go and get these points off to the side, research speed and construction. Along the way, you'll get some titanium and nickel, which is great. You are going to need a lot of nickel steel. So getting the gather up speed, this is for asteroids. And getting the planet development, this is a bonus when you gather from a planet. Both of those are going to be really important. Now, you could theoretically look into this and say, because I have focused on nickel, I should only gather from nickel planets. And that honestly would be a pretty reasonable takeaway from the fact that I am more advantaged for nickel and titanium in particular. But there's a place where that is more relevant. And the place we need to go look at next is your research. The research you'd be looking for is specifically in the resources tree. Along the way here, there are some really important things to go and get. And of course, that ranges from just gathering speed in general and also getting the planet development, which you can see right over here. This gives a fixed amount boost to your planet development. Depending on which resources you want to focus on, you could theoretically push your research into any one of these a whole heck of a lot. So if you knew you were only going to do planet development for nickel steel, for example, you could go all in on this research, or at least as far as you could before you need a higher level of your research center to try to advantage that situation as much as possible. There are other technologies here that are helpful, obviously, for gathering as well. The only other major research I'll call your attention to, besides the gathering speed boost, the planet boost, is simply going to be your load boost. At the very start of the game, when you don't have enough warships to completely drain an asteroid, this becomes super relevant. It also does help with your planet development and your ability to do that overnight if you wanted, and that is an important topic. If you go and you are draining an asteroid, for example, if you do not completely drain the asteroid, then it will be left behind. There's not, to my knowledge, any advantage to a higher level node other than the fact that it has more resources. So you can see this is a full level 3 nickel steel node. This is a partially drained level 5 nickel steel node. And this is one thing that I don't think the game will show you, but is important to understand. For each of your fleets that you go out to gather with, you have a load boost. You can see this when you tap into the details for any one fleet. If I tap into this fleet, if we scroll down, it shows me that anvil, and that is my load capacity right over here, the total resources that this fleet can carry. It is worth mentioning that you might think, oh, well, Chisgule, I don't have much load capacity. I'm going to go gather nickel steel because it is a lot less total resources every time you gather from it. But the problem is that the nickel steel actually, and as well as plasma, counts as more load than it is going to show. And I think it's a factor of like somewhere between 3 to 5x the amount of load as it would take for these other two resources you could get at the start of the game. So I mention that because you may think, oh, of course, I've got enough load to go handle what was this, 14,000 nickel steel? Easy, right? Easy. No. You need like 4x to 5x that amount of load capacity to actually fully drain this. Those exact numbers may be slightly off, but leave a comment down below with that exact ratio, and I'll be happy to highlight that and point it out. Now, you may also be wondering, okay, Chisgule, you showed me how to find these asteroids. You showed me sort of how to find these planets. Is there planet capacity? No. There's no limit to the amount of resources that a planet has, only the number of gatherers that are there. And if you wanted to find a great planet to go and gather from, I recommend you go to your Alliance Territory screen. From there, there is a planet development section in the upper left. That is where you'll tap, and then you can see what nearby systems have available to you. I will point out that in general, the higher the level of the planets, the more resources per hour or per time that you'll get from that planet. So for instance, if we look at these level 4 planets, what have we got here? 72,000 hourly resource production from a level 4. If I go to a level 6, we find the same resource, 79.2 thousand. It's not a ton more, but when you factor in all the other bonuses that you get as well, it is kind of a big deal. And you can see here the amount of planet gathering energy that I have. This is really important. It is limited. This number will fully refresh at reset every day, which is at 0 UTC. There are two other really important ways to optimize your resource gathering. One of them we haven't actually mentioned up to this point in the video, and that is crew. Your crew is very important for improving your gathering, as well as these points you get off to the side. I would recommend generally focusing on epic or legendary crew members, rather than going in and spreading your experience among a whole bunch of crew. And the reason that I recommend this is that you get a ton of points, and those points give you extra bonuses right over here. Those are really good. So first of all, the crew that I think are totally worth going in on, it's this dude right over here, Trek Wagner. Trek Wagner is a beast. Not only does he give you rapid mining, fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic amount of mining speed boost. In addition, he pairs really well with two crew members you're going to have. One of them, in fact, both of them, you're going to have from doing prospecting and investigating. I'll have a card up in the top for the video we did yesterday all about how you go and investigate to go and get some of these bonus rewards. So you are literally guaranteed to have all of these crew in a relatively high advancement tier. And that's important because when you put them all together, you get a 15 logistics boost as well. It's really quite exceptional. So anyways, Trek Wagner is very high on my list. There are other crew members that are good for gathering that I don't find as compelling, especially in the early game. And maybe late game we'll have like fully decked out high-level crew that we'll be using just for gathering. But in the early game, that feels like a mistake to me. Like, look, as cool as it is to have a storage center capacity boost or a load boost, the only thing I care about is planet development speed and also regular gathering. Those are like the two things I'm interested in. So here's the other one, planet development. And I guess it's not planet development speed, but it's resource output bonus. Okay, so those are the two things. I could, theoretically, also be using Brown Schwimmer. That would be reasonable for his planet output bonus. However, here are some of the benefits that I think are more important that I'm using basically all the time. Pretty much all the time throughout the day, I'm going and I'm battling neutral units. I get a lot of stuff in here that's helping me go and do that better, including a ton of energy regen right over here. Now, if you did want to go all in on a logistics crew, I will obviously call your attention to the fact that along the way, you can get some titanium, steel, and deuterium output bonus. The problem, however, is that, sure, you can get these bonuses from planet development, but guess what? You know, where you want to be doing planets, late game, or even mid game, or even early game, it's probably going to be nickel steel as soon as you can get it. Not these two. I mean, even if you go all in, you can get some titanium, steel, gather up, and deuterium again, but man, the nickel is so far. The plasma is so far. Crew that is focused on this feels like a late game luxury to me rather than a early game priority. But what you can do for nearly free is use some of your flagships that are in fact gathering related. And there are 4 I want to call your attention to. The Peleus is really important. You're going to get this from doing, I believe it's a bunch of strongholds, starting with the level 1 strongholds. And it's got not only an all resource gather up speed boost, but it also has a planet development all resource output boost, which is great. You should absolutely be using the Peleus for gathering. In addition, we've got the Argo. The Argo is a ship that you'll get very easily. 7% gathering speed boost. Base is not so bad. In addition, you've got the Jason. You'll get a bunch of this as well, doing stuff as you're advancing in the game. I've got that up to a 20% gathering speed boost, and it's also got a load boost. Super relevant in the early game. This is really quite exceptional. There's a legendary flagship as well. That is the Achilles. The Achilles does several things. It's got gathering speed boost, and it's also got neutral unit boosts, and it's even got resources from planets as well. I would make the argument here, however, that when you're looking at your flagships, most players are not going to have the luxury of having a warring flagship that they can go and upgrade a bunch and a gathering flagship that they can go and upgrade a bunch. I'm going to make the argument that you should focus on one, not many. And so in this instance, I've bought my way into the Artemis. I have leveled up the Hercules using the free-ish stuff that I've gotten and just kind of advancing in the game. I've not really invested the majority of my Federation credits into a flagship yet. I mention all of this because even though I already have a flagship for warring, and I've got a flagship that I can sort of also use a second flagship for neutral units, I still do not think it's right for me to go and invest in gathering ships, as crazy as that sounds, because I think I want a second warring flagship for battling other players. And so I'm mentioning all of this because even in the early game to mid game, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to be using your Federation credits to get some more of these flagships to then use for gathering. Specifically, you can get those, by the way, from your trade center. You go to blueprints. I mean, you can see I have not spent, I think, a single credit, not a single credit that I've got over here, the Federation credits, on epic or blue ships. Not one. And I'm like, which epic ship should I do? I don't know. For battling other players, which one would be best? If you've got an idea for that, leave a comment down below. I'm certainly looking into this, thinking which one will I go invest in. So I mention all of that because it takes a lot of Federation credits to get maybe even no gathering boost at all. To give an example, when you go into the JSON here, if I tap modify, you can see that the boost I'm going to get if I were to rank this ship up is not even the gathering speed, it's navigate speed. And navigate speed is cool, it's fine. But no, I'm not using this ship for its navigate speed. And yes, getting to and from a gathering node is great and all, but it's a lot of commitment to get very little boost. So you'll probably be using these flagships at the more or less base tier of modification without using any Federation credits. You'll advance them naturally as you go about different activities in the game. Arguably, I should go and use, now that I'm halfway there, a small amount of Federation credits and rank this up. And by ranking it up, I will go up to level 2 on gathering speed from 7% to 14%. I guess that makes a reasonable difference. There is one other thing I do want to talk about, by the way, which is that I'm not using it now, but you could use a buff. If you look at the amount of time on my gathering, it's 4 hours, 34 minutes, 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 4 hours, 53 minutes for my planet development over there. If I go and I pop a token for gathering speed, that will certainly help. So now I'm going to pop, let's just go and show you this real quick. We'll do an 8-hour token. You can go to the Trade Center, shop, buff, 8 hours, 200 corium. We'll pick that up. There is also a 24-hour buff you can get. You can also get some of those buffs from your Alliance shop. If I go and pop that buff now, 8 hours, boom. So you can see that did improve the gathering time significantly for asteroids, but not for planet development, unfortunately. So I don't know if it's worth the corium. It probably is, just to get one of these gathering speed boosts. Even if you have 2 to 3 flagships out and about doing that gathering, it's probably worth it. Because the amount of time I'm saving there means that I'm getting more resources. And the thing that I like the most, perhaps, about gathering in this game is that you'll get to a point where you'll find high-level resource nodes, and those resource nodes will work for like 5 to 6 hours of gathering. It's magical. I'm used to having to send out gatherers every hour, and realistically, they stagger, and then you got to be checking in all the time, basically, to be optimal with your gatherers. Here, I've only got 3 gatherers, and I only have to worry about them every 5 to 6 hours. That's actually a nice change of pace. If you have any other tips and tricks for gathering, certainly let me know down below in the comments. There are so many ways to improve your resource gathering in this game. Even Alliance technology can go and help with your resource gathering and planet gathering as well. So there's a lot you can do to advance your progression in the game, gathering resources. So there may be other things that I might have missed in this video. I'll be cruising through the comments to see what those are. If you enjoyed this, do me a huge favor, throw a like on here. Consider subscribing for more Infinite Galaxy videos just like this one. And until next time, you have fun smashing your nebula.